Hello students, welcome to Trunkie Academy again, and we will be studying today a new topic. We studied in the last class about the excretion in human beings, and today we studied about the excretion in plants. Okay, um, we know that all the living organisms they carry out different life processes. Okay, like we have some excretory process in our body. Similarly, plants also have excretory system in their body. Okay, they also produce some wastes, metabolic waste, and these metabolic waste must be removed or eliminated from the body, so that their body there will be no any harmful effect with those waste or the toxic substance that is produced after different chemical reaction, that is metabolism. Okay, so whatever the metabolic waste or toxic substance that is produced or waste produced, that must be removed. Okay, so plants do not have like very much a very specialized organ like animals, so their excretory system is pretty simple, and they excrete by different means. Okay, so today we'll study about the excretion in plants. Excretion in plants. Okay, so you know that different metabolic process takes place. Photosynthesis is there in plant, which is the process of synthesizing food, okay, with the help of carbon dioxide and water. So whenever any reaction, whether it is synthesizing or breaking down, some wastes are produced. Okay, so in photosynthesis they are producing water and oxygen. So in photosynthesis they are producing water and carbon dioxide, CO2. Not carbon dioxide, it is oxygen, O2. Okay, as waste. Okay, so water and oxygen are produced as waste. In case of respiration, during respiration, okay, water and CO2 is produced as waste. So these are the few examples I told you. There are so many different reactions that takes place in plant body, and those waste must be removed from the plant body. So what the plants are doing actually in removal of these waste, okay, unlike animals, like we have some specialized organ for excretion like kidney, okay, which is continuously involved in the formation of urine. Okay, but in case of plants, some metabolic wastes are stored in such certain parts of the plant body, and that part is then detached or fall off, or that remains on the body and inactive. Okay, so what happens in plant body is that the cellular respiration, photosynthesis, and other metabolic waste produce lot of different waste. Okay, and even nitrogenous compound produced in protein metabolism, all these are also found in plant body also. So plant produce gaseous waste, oxygen during photosynthesis, and carbon dioxide during the respiration. Okay, so there you must have heard about the stomata, and which is a minute pores. Okay, minute pores on the leaves and other parts. So what happens? Gaseous exchange takes place through when this carbon dioxide is produced during respiration and oxygen is produced as waste during photosynthesis. Okay, so diffusion of different or exchange of gases takes place at stomata. Okay, through stomata. So in case of other waste, what will happen? Some waste like bark, latex, gums, these are deposited. Okay, and that is also the waste that is produced in plant. Okay, so excess of water is excreted through transpiration water. So from stomata, O2 and CO2, O2 and CO2, waste of photosynthesis and respiration. Okay, takes place through stomata. Okay, water is also, the stomata is also involved in releasing, okay, water, H2O, okay, lost through these pores, through these pores, stomatal pores. Okay, so stomata is involved in, so stomata is playing an important role. Okay, so here this particular structure, stomata, which is present in the leaves and other certain green parts of the plant body, is involved in the exchange of gases or elimination of gases which is produced as metabolic waste. So these stomata are small, very small, minute pores, and they have got one particular kind of cell, bean shaped cell. Okay, guard cells are present. Okay, bean shaped. Okay, and these pores, this is the pore through which gaseous exchange takes place. Okay, and this contains nucleus and other important material. When it absorbs water, it becomes fully turgid. Okay, and it is open. When it absorbs water, becomes turgid, means hard, okay, rigid, turgid, and stomatal pore opens. Okay, again, when you observe this, you'll find that when it loses water, it becomes flaccid. After losing water, it becomes flaccid. Then it is closed, nucleus and other. So when it loses water, it becomes flaccid, and stomata is closed. Okay, so this is how opening and closing of stomata takes place. Sometimes it needs to be closed when there is no requirement to prevent the loss of some gas or water, and when there is a requirement of loss of water, or water must be lost through these pores, so stomata opens. When it is absorbing water in the bean, this is called guard cell. These cells are called guard cell, bean shaped guard cell. This is the guard cell. Guard cell. So two guard cells form one stomatal pore. Guard cell. Okay. So these guard cells are opening and closing by absorbing water and losing water. Okay. So what happens when there is a requirement of losing water during transpiration? Okay, these stomata are open. Okay, so another point that you note down is for the loss of or removal of excess water there is a process called transpiration. Okay, so with the help of transpiration, the excess water is lost. This is the okay. Now what happens? Other than this gaseous and this water metabolic waste, okay, plants also generate organic byproducts. So this is an important point now. So we are talking about the waste that is produced during photosynthesis. Waste is produced during the respiration. Okay. So during respiration and photosynthesis, we saw that water, carbon dioxide, oxygen. Okay. Or some other gaseous waste may be produced. But apart from this carbon dioxide, water, and this oxygen, gaseous waste product, and this water, there are some other waste product also, organic byproducts. Okay, so this is the important point. Okay, other than gas, this is the important point. Other than gaseous wastes, other than water and gaseous waste, metabolism in plants also generate organic byproducts. Organic byproducts. Now, the point, what do you mean by organic byproducts? Means like other substances, okay, other solid substances. Apart from this gaseous waste and water, there are some other substances, other waste material, organic substances, which may be solid. Okay, so these wastes are stored in different forms. So these wastes are stored temporarily or permanently. These wastes are stored in different forms. In different parts. Okay, like now after this, the which I'm going to tell you is important for example. What are these substances which is stored in different forms? That is the gums, oils, latex, okay, resins, etc. Okay, these are the common examples of the organic byproducts which is formed in the and stored in the plants. Okay, these are stored in these products are stored in where? In bark, stem or leaves, etc. Okay, so these are the organic byproduct. Because apart from this photosynthesis and respiration, there are so many other reactions, metabolic reactions going inside the plant body, and due to which some organic solid substances are formed as the waste, and these wastes are formed, and then these are stored in different certain parts of the plant body as gum, oil, latex, and resins, and stored in the bark and stem, leaves, etc. Okay. Now what happens? Now we do not find this kind of system in case of animal body. Okay. Animal has got some specialized organ which is just involved and responsible for preparing the waste, the system for the removal of the metabolic waste. Like we find kidney is a dedicated organ which is responsible for formation of urine for the elimination of the metabolic waste. Like, but in plants it is totally different. Okay, so if there is some kind of deposition of organic substances in the leaves, okay, so that leaves may fall off and a new leaves may be produced, okay, after some days. Okay, now so basically, so we can say that so how the excretion, a process of excretion is taking place, or how the different metabolic waste are being removed or being eliminated from the plant body. So first is the plant get rid of. So now this is the point to be noted, and for the exam is the so plants. While summarizing, plants get rid of the waste products in the following manner. That means in the following manner. Okay, number one. So then is the number one is the gaseous waste, like waste like CO2 and O2 are expelled from stomata. So first point which I told you, expelled from stomata. Okay. Then number three is this is number one. No? So number two. This is number one. Number two. Water vapors. Water leaves the plant. Water from the leaves. Water is eliminated is eliminated through stomata. Through stomata by transpiration. By transpiration. Okay. Number 3, solid waste. Solid waste. These are the points to be remembered. Okay, wastes stored in the body. Stored in the body. In the body is eliminated by shedding. Is eliminated by shedding of leaves. Shedding of leaves. Peeling of bark. Peeling of bark and felling of fruits and falling of fruits. Okay. Then the gums and resins. Gums and resins excreted from lenticels. This is a kind of another pore. Okay, straight from the lenticels. From the lenticels in the bark. Okay, number 5. Okay, some wastes are excreted by the plant in the soil. Some wastes are excreted by the plant in the soil. Around them. Now listen very carefully. The first point I told you that photosynthesis, respiration takes place. Apart from this, there are some other gases maybe produced as metabolic waste. So gaseous waste like carbon dioxide, oxygen, they are expelled from the stomata. Okay, the stomata are pores, small minute pores which are present on the leaves and other certain parts of the green parts of the plant body, and through which gaseous exchange takes place. There are 2 guard cells, like I have already explained. 2 guard cells are present, which the closing and opening of these stomata are dependent on the absorption of water and losing of water from the guard cells. Okay, in guard cells. So when these are fully, they have fully the water, they become turgid and their pores are opened. And when they become flaccid by losing water, the pores are closed. Okay, so gaseous wastes like the carbon dioxide and water are expelled from the stomata. Water is eliminated through stomata by transpiration. Transpiration is a very common process, an important process in plant body by which the excess water is lost. So this loss of water is also takes place through stomata, and water is lost in the form of vapor, water vapor in gaseous form. Okay. Now solid wastes are also formed in this plant body. There are some other different, so many metabolic reactions going inside the plant body. Okay, and there is during the formation of different fruits or other. So some metabolic wastes which are in the form of the solid, okay, or the semi-solid. So they are also eliminated by shedding of leaves, or peeling of bark, and falling of fruits. Some of the metabolic wastes are stored in the leaves temporarily, and the leaves fall off from the parent body, okay, or from the this plant body, and the new leaves are developed later on. Okay, so that shedding of leaves is also part of the excretion. Now, some wastes are stored in the bark, and this peeling of bark takes place, and this peeling of bark is also the one of the process of excretion, because some of the solid substances, organic wastes that is produced in metabolic reaction, okay, that is stored in the bark, and the peeling of bark removes the waste from the plant body. In some cases, some wastes are produced in the fruits, stored in the fruits, okay, oils, etc., and that is removed by falling of fruits. Okay. Now the gums, resins, these are also the excretory product, metabolic waste, excretory product of plants. These gums and resins are excreted from the lenticels in the bark. So there is a kind of pores in the bark which is called lenticels, through which gums and resins may come out and can be excreted. Apart from this, there are some wastes that is produced in the root region, so they do not need to come up in the stem and then need to be excreted. Okay, so those waste or metabolic waste, excretory product, which is produced in the root region, they are eliminated or excreted in the root only, in the soil around them. Okay, so what happens? These are the different excretory method. So what happens in case of the excretory methods in the plant? That is the gaseous exchange, storing, and diffusion, transpiration. So basically, three processes are involved. So I'll write. Okay. So basically, three important processes are involved. One is the transpiration, for removal of water, transpiration. So three process or method, processes, or we can say the method, how they is it different from the animal. So transpiration, number one is the transpiration. Okay, then is the this is the number one. And number two is storing, by storing of metabolic waste. Animal can't store. In animal body, as soon as metabolic waste is produced, it has to be removed. Storing, and then is the diffusion of gases. If it is the waste is in the form of gas. Okay, so by observing these five different elimination of the metabolic waste or the excretory product, we can conclude and we can find that there are three important processes involved in the elimination of excretory product in plants. That is the transpiration. Transpiration is also called necessary evil, because the water is being absorbed by the roots from the soil continuously to maintain the column of the water in the xylem tissue. And whatever the excess water is there, which is produced during the metabolic reaction, that also contributing to the water content of the plant, and which is eliminated from the plant body through the stomata by the process of transpiration. Okay. Now another important process which is involved, by which the plants are able to get rid of this metabolic waste, that is storing. Okay, just imagine an animal or human body is accumulating urine in one arm, in one whole hand. Okay, and when it fully formed, and then just it will fall off from the body. Okay, is it possible? Can you imagine? No, not at all. In case of animal, like in case of the plant, some wastes are stored in some part like leaves, and that leaf will fall off and the new leaf. Like, so that is not possible in the animal body when the urine will be fully filled up, and then this hand arm will fall off from the shoulder, and the new hand will again form. Okay, this is not possible. So plant has got that mechanism. It's because it's primitive type of organism. Okay, the plant. So in animals, there are more complex and well specialized physiological systems are found, but in plants, it is that they are getting rid of the different waste they produce by different means, by diffusion, by transpiration, and storage. So transpiration, I told you, it is the process of loss of water from the aerial part of the body in the form of vapor. Stomata is the pores through which water is lost. Storing also, they store temporarily and in some certain regions, like bark, peeling of bark that removes the or eliminates the waste from the plant body. And another third process on which the plant are dependent, or they which is contribute to the elimination or for getting rid of the waste, that is the diffusion. Okay. Now what happens when this diffusion takes place? Means that it takes place in stomata, exchange of gases. Like I told you earlier, when there is excess of when there is carbon dioxide produced during respiration, the oxygen is produced during photosynthesis. These are the metabolic waste, and these are lost through stomata. Okay, so these are the different ways by which we can. Now I'll just recap. Excretion is very simple in plant body. Excretion means the elimination or getting rid of waste, metabolic waste from the body. Okay, like in an industry, in a factory, when something is being manufactured or being produced, there will be some kind of waste along with that. Okay, so that is discarded, removed, eliminated. Similarly, different types of reactions going in our body for production of some substances, some important materials, some important molecules. Okay, and for the to maintain the normal living conditions of the body. So some waste material, okay, some metabolic wastes are also produced along with those reactions, along with those metabolic reactions. Okay, so that needs to be removed. So that is excretion. So getting rid of the waste products from the body is the excretion. Photosynthesis is a anabolic reaction or anabolism, anabolic metabolic reaction, where plant is synthesizing glucose molecule. Okay, so along with the synthesis of this glucose molecule, some waste is produced, that is water and oxygen. Oxygen being is in a gas form, it is eliminated, and even water also in its gaseous form, water vapor is lost through the stomata. Okay, in case of respiration, water and carbon. Respiration is the catabolic reaction, breaking down of substances. It breaks down the glucose molecule for the production of energy. Okay, so here energy is being produced, and along with that, water and carbon dioxide is produced as byproduct or waste product, which also is removed through stomata. I told you stomata is minute pores and formed by two guard cells. Guard cells are bean shaped and are opening and closing by absorbing and losing the water. Okay, opening and closing by absorbing and losing water respectively. When the water is fully filled up in the guard cell, this will be turgid, hard, rigid, and it will just be open, form a pore in between these two guard cells. Okay, when it loses water, it becomes flaccid and it will close. The pores will be closed. Okay, so depending on the time, depending on the situation, sometimes these pores are opening and closing. Stomata are opening and closing. For the removal of excess of water, okay, the transpiration is the process by which these plants are able to lose their excess water in the form of a water vapor. Okay, and apart from the gaseous waste or this water, there are some other wastes are also formed and produced during different reactions and different metabolism that takes place in the plant body. These can be organic waste, solid waste, okay, or semi-solid waste like gums, oil, latex, resin, etc. Please remember these four names. Okay, the question may be asked based on this. Okay, what are the organic waste? Okay, or solid waste apart from carbon dioxide and oxygen, apart from the gaseous waste, gums, oil, latex, resin, etc. These are stored or temporarily stored in bark or some region of the stems or leaves, and plant get rid of these products in the following manner, that is the gaseous exchange takes place by through the or the gaseous waste are expelled from the stomata, and water is expelled through the stomata in the form of vapor. Solid waste like the resin, what we call this, latex and all, these are removed from the by temporarily storing in the some parts of the plant body, some region, and it is eliminated by shedding of leaves, peeling of bark, and falling of fruits. Okay, and plants also store some waste in the fruit, and that is removed from the plant body by falling of fruits. Gums and resins are excreted through special kind of openings, small openings that is present, called openings called lenticels, which is present on the lenticels in the bark. The opening is called lenticels, and these lenticels are present on the bark, through which gums and resins come out. Okay, and thus the expulsion of these gums and resin takes place from the plant body. So these are the different mechanisms, different ways by which plants are able to get rid of waste that is produced in their body. Okay, so this is how excretion or elimination of excretory product or the removal of excretory product, okay, or how plant get rid of excretory product that takes place in plant. These are the different processes, different methods, and if we observe all these processes, we find that on one point I told you that even the roots are also undergoing some kind of metabolic reaction, and those metabolic waste which produced in the roots are eliminated around them only in the soil. So if you observe these different processes, how the plants are eliminating the excretory product, so you'll find that three important process methods are there. One is transpiration, one is storing, and a third is a diffusion. So, okay, so these three processes are there for elimination of the waste product in plant body. Okay, so by which they are able to get rid of waste that is produced in their body. Now, I've already told you, and again I'm telling you that after this class you will receive one DPP. Okay, and I'll tell you. Sorry. Okay, so you will get, when you click on the you go to your academic booster and you click on the resources link, you'll find there is left hand side another link called writing material. You click on that and you'll find the DPP sent by us. You just go through download it and go through the questions, solve the questions, write the answers, and send back to us for evaluation. Okay, so thank you for joining and listening today. Tomorrow again we will meet at the same time with another topic, and till then, goodbye. Thank you. Now you may leave.